Peace, 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 peace. How are you? I pray that you are doing so wonderfully well. I pray that you have spent the time since the last time we spoke healing, forgiving yourself, loving yourself, bringing yourself forward into a space mentally, spiritually, and physically where you can grow, where you can shine your light. I pray that every moment of your life is spent with joy and peace and love. Even the tough times where we have pain, I pray that even in your pain you can find laughter, you can find a hug, you can find understanding. We are in a world that's ever changing, and I pray that you find yourself grounded as the world moves around you. And even as you grow and blossom and open your leaves up to the sky to receive the sunlight, that you too change and grow and evolve while still remaining grounded in faith, in family, in community, in yourself, your most true and divine self. The journey of life, as we've discussed so many times, is for us to grow and evolve into our most precious and divine self. You are always your most precious and divine self, but to become conscious and aware of who you truly are is a journey. And to then use that awareness to enact a light onto the world is a journey. And we are on this journey together. We are on the journey of analyzing and understanding our past so we can create a more dynamic, fulfilling, and loving future, joyous future. And in that and on that journey, we find ourselves often dwelling on things that we cannot change. So today, I asked the Most High this morning, what am I supposed to talk about today? What am I supposed to say? And the Most High reminded me of my faults. The Most High spoke to me and reminded me of my failures, reminded me of my inconsistencies, reminded me that I didn't get up at 6:30 this week at all, last week at all, reminded me that it is important to acknowledge, to see, to even in some cases when necessary to admit, to know that you are flawed. And in being flawed does not make you any less amazing and dynamic and meaningful and worthy. Many of us see our worth in our abilities to be perfect. The Creator and I were having a conversation about perfection, and it's non-existent. We can strive to reach a certain level of what we perceive as perfect, and we will never, ever get there. We can look towards this fake ideal of perfection and find so many flaws in ourselves and in our performance throughout life that we can become depressed or angry or frustrated with ourselves and with the world. And this dims our light. I know I got right into it, right? I just said a prayer and I got right into the meat of things, but sometimes, well, for me, all the niceties quite often fall by the wayside. I'm usually a to the point type of person. I often forget the processes of talking to folks, saying hi and saying, how are you? Even though I did those things. But quite often, I'll just say, so, you know what? Da 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 da. And I know it might feel like we just jumped right into it, but it's important for us to jump right into it. Time is of the essence. When have you looked inward and seen a flaw with yourself and stood up and decided to shine brightly despite it? All of us have to develop that muscle because none of us are perfect. I deal with my own flaws, procrastination, inconsistency, lack of motivation. I deal with my own flaws on a daily basis. What flaws are you dealing with? I know we've discussed some of these ideas before, and I know we've discussed much of it in different ways, but it's always important to go back and to reanalyze, take another look at everything that we're dealing with as human beings in the world, just trying to be the best version of ourselves. That is the purpose of life. If you haven't already come to that understanding, we as a group or as a family, we've come to that understanding that the purpose of life is simply to be the best version of ourselves, and the best version of ourselves will still be flawed because we are human. We will always have something to improve on, and that's okay. In fact, it's necessary. It's necessary to have a space within yourself that you're always working on, that you're always seeing and knowing that you can do better so that you can strive to thrive. The beautiful little imperfections in ourselves are what make us unique, but it's also what should give us drive. We should use those little things. Oh, I'm always late. We should use those to work towards being on time. We know time is a construct of man. We know time is different in different cultures. We know time is, malleable and even imperfect in the sense that we've created as human beings digits of time that may or may not, some do, some don't, actually exist. But we do have to work in the world. So we do have to learn to manipulate ourselves, to work with ourselves, to manage ourselves, to be better in multiple spaces and places that exist in the world. So we do have to learn to be consistent if we want to reach the goals that we want to reach. We do have to work on self-motivation. We do have to work on understanding our own imperfections and loving them dearly while still working to manage them at the best way we can. We do need to see ourselves as whole and worthy despite any imperfections or flaws that we may have. Some have come up with an idea of what flawless looks like, but I say flawless looks like a flawed person who's working to be their best self. Flawlessness looks like me and you just being loving, breathing, working, challenging, understanding, accepting. That's what perfection is. If there is anything such as perfection, it is that. It is understanding the beauty of your imperfections. Loving yourself despite your flaws while still working to manage them. Now, last week and almost every week, we talk about the light that we have to shine on the world. We talk about how tough or how stressful the world that we live in is. We talk about how we can affect change in the world, and the answer for me will always be that we have to start with ourselves. And if starting with yourself looks like going out into the world and serving the homeless, maybe starting with yourself looks like going out into the world and working with children. Maybe starting with self looks like for you meditating, dealing with your own temper, dealing with your own ego so you can be a light for the world, for your family, for your friends. They can then be a light to their family and friends. And there can be this ripple effect through and within and without the world. If we all saw ourselves as precious, divine, perfectly imperfect human beings, precious and divine, perfectly imperfect spiritual beings, having a human experience, then we would be more accepting of others. We would see the divinity in all beings. Maybe there would be less war. Maybe there would be less violence. Maybe there would be less rape. If everyone saw themselves as precious and divine, how much light could be shed in the world so that other people could see their own path towards their own best self. Flaws are beautiful. Flaws are to be worked with and managed. Flaws are to be used. I feel like getting closer to you. Flaws are to be used as fuel. Flaws are to be accepted. Your beautiful imperfections make you perfect. Shine your light. Shine your light on the world. Be. Accept. Love. Forgive. I love you. I pray for you.